Get.
Let's appreciate him, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much. Seki dance, derived from an African word, but driving the celebration in the Niger Delta across the 9 states. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I would like to present here one of the finest politicians on the continent of Africa. He's a proud son of the Niger Delta. He's a chairman here today. His politics is devoid of toxins. He's a gentleman's gentleman. He's an intellectual. He's patriotic. He's a nationalist. He's an asset to Niger Delta, to Nigeria, and to the continent. And we are very happy that he used to be the president of this country. It is my pleasure to welcome here His Excellency President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan GCFR, our chairman here today.
Please be seated. Let me especially appreciate the presence of the Commander-in-Chief, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is here represented by the Senate President, our own Godswill Akpabio. And let me also appreciate the presence of the Senate President himself in his own capacity as the Senate President. We have to congratulate him because after the late wires, he is the second person the Niger Delta is producing as the Senate President. So thank you for coming to lead us today. Other senators are here with us, and members of the National Assembly, our governors, deputy governors, and their representatives. Let me appreciate the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta and other honorable ministers that are here with us in this ceremony. Let me appreciate our own father, the father of the day, Chief E.K. Clark, who is here being represented by my good friend, most distinguished Senator. Thank you. The Chairman of the Governing Board of NDDC, the Managing Director, and other management staff of the NDDC and members of the board. Top government functionaries here with us. Let me sincerely appreciate the presence of the Chief of Defense Staff for coming in person to attend this ceremony. Thank you. Our royal fathers are here with us. Our other traditional rulers are here with us. Our clergymen and women, our various youth leaders. Let me appreciate all of you. I am really delighted to join other stakeholders from the Niger Delta and other participants from across the country at this special Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit. I thank the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, led by the chairman, Chiedu Ebe, and the managing director and CEO, Chief Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, for giving us the opportunity to come today to interrogate the issues of the Niger Delta. I commend them for their commitment to the development of the Niger Delta and their forthright leadership so far in pursuit of their mandate. As an interventionist agency for the oil-producing states, The NDDC holds the mandate of bringing development closer to the people and fostering hope and peace by way of inclusive governance. To our people in the region, NDDC came as a child of necessity whose strategic role is to improve the environment, provide infrastructure, and enhance the livelihood of the people in the region. And of course, we know before NDDC, there are a number of agencies that were set up by the federal government when the seat of government was even in Lagos. The one well known was the 1% derivation fund. But all these attempts to improve the quality of life and infrastructure of Niger Delta didn't see the light of the day because we didn't see anything. Then came UMPADEG, led by Chief A.K. Hosfall, where I worked as an assistant director. When UMPADEG came on board, there was some vision. There were activities. There was a clear leadership. But it didn't last long. And UMPADEG got into a situation where it became comatose for so many years before the birth of the NDDC. Of course, I have to thank members of the National Assembly, the first set in this dispensation, 1999, that came up with the law establishing the NDDC. Those who knew much about the NDDC know how powerful the National Assembly of Nigeria is. They were even more powerful than the president. And NDDC was formed. The first leadership of NDDC, led by Onyema Ogochukwu as the chairman of the board, and Chief Timi Alaibe, who was the executive director of finance and administration and later became the MD, shows some clear leadership. And it appears as if the Niger Delta was moving to some direction. But after that leadership, I think the Niger Delta NDDC then got involved into too many, let me say, we the politicians took over the NDDC and their progress was slowed down. The activities were slowed down. And people started feeling that the impact of this agency was not well noticed. But with the birth of this current leadership, people from the Niger Delta have seen some light. It's not because they have brought me here. I also listened to the beginning of this conversation on Wednesday that it was opened. And I've heard our sons and daughters, key stakeholders from the Niger Delta, interrogating the issues. I also listened to people like Chief Jasper Jumbo and others. And I was impressed that they are taking a different look at the Niger Delta. For them to gather all of us, including people like me, who are no longer involved in active politics, to have conversation on the Niger Delta show clearly that the current leadership intends to move the NDDC to a proper direction. And that's why some of us decided to come and encourage them. What I will request is for us who are the political class not to overstress the NDDC, so that they can perform. And I'm lucky Godswill Akpabio is here himself. He's our most senior politician. He has to work with others so that the NDDC is not put under too much of stress. And I know what I'm talking about. For the NDDC, We are happy with the way you've started, and we hope you continue in those strides. Having given me the opportunity to chair this opening ceremony, let me use this opportunity to mention one or two things that I think is to look at it. And I know you're already looking at it. The issue of abandoned project is one of the greatest problems of the NDDC. I'm very happy that before coming here, within this period that I've been invited to be here, I heard the MD who spoke on the abandoned projects and promised the people of the Niger Delta that issue of abandonment of projects will not be accommodated by this administration. So we have to encourage you to do that. Another thing that I believe the NDDC should look at it is that projects that, especially infrastructure projects that were done by the NDDC, sometimes they abandon the project. And instead of those projects being looked at as a worthy contribution of the NDDC to the area, people look at it as a cost. For example, road projects that were completed and being used, of course, our terrain we all know. Sometimes this road project deteriorate to a level that vehicles can no longer move. So NDDC must have a way to manage the infrastructure they complete. There are two ways to do that. They can, on their own, continue to maintain their roads. And everybody who lives within that area will know that this is what NDDC has contributed to the area. Alternatively, they could meet with the governors, and a road that is dear to the state, they can construct and donate it to the state. In that case, the state will take over the maintenance of the road. But where NDDC builds a road, and within handing over that road to the state and just abandoning the road, is not the best. So these are areas that NDDC should look at it. The next thing I believe is oil. We are here because we produce oil. But everybody knows that the fossil fuel, hydrocarbons, the future is so bleak. It may dry up, just like the Olobri oil field dried up. Or even if we still have it, the global environmental politics may stop exploitation of the fossil fuels one day. And therefore, the Niger Delta should begin to see how they will start building a Niger Delta without hydrocarbons. We must prepare our young people and our children for a Niger Delta without hydrocarbon. There are so many ways to do it, and I admire the competence of the key actors in the NDDC. One thing is about education. And the NDDC has been giving scholarships. I know that. I think they have to strengthen that aspect very well. Let our youth be well educated and acquire skills so that they can work anywhere in the world. The next is industrialization, which NDDC cannot do it directly. If they attempt to do it directly, they will fail. I'm also suggesting that giving loans to industrialists, which is very risky, because when we are in Nompadek, we had a directorate that did that, and the payment was very poor. But NDDC can work with agencies of government that have been managing loans properly, like the Bank of Industry. If they work with these agencies and they provide the funds for the people of the Niger Delta to access, I believe it will improve the industrialization of the Niger Delta. Agric, I remember when Timi Alaibe was there too. I remember they tried to intervene in agriculture, but I think it was not successful. That is the key area that we need to. But the management is complex. If you give agric loans, repayment of agric loans in the country is very, very poor. And that's why even the Bank of Agriculture is not doing well. But those who are really serious in agriculture could be given assistance in form of grants, but not cash. Should be in form of inputs, but not the portfolio farmers. It must be people who are really doing farming. And I believe that the leadership of the NDDC, the chairman and the board, the MD, the executive directors, and senior staff are presently focused. And I believe that if they go on this way, they will make all of us happy. As the chairman, I'm not to give a keynote speech. There are other people that will give keynote speeches. My duty is just to greet you and formally declare the conversation open. I thank you all.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Can we put our hands together for him as he steps down now? Thank you. Wonderful President. Pride of the region, pride of the nation. We thank you. We thank you. And while he was speaking, I saw in the audience His Excellency, the Governor of Bayelsa State, His Excellency Senator Doye Diri, who is here with a very wonderful entourage. Your Excellency, we welcome you, Doye Diri, Governor of Bayelsa State. Also here, His Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa. I welcome you, Your Excellency. Also here, Executive Director, Business Development, Nexim Bank, Ms. Stella Okotete is here. Stella will be stepping forward now as we commence the goodwill messages. Please, we appeal, let's make our comments not more than 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to give the first goodwill message, may I respectfully invite the Governor of Abia State, His Excellency Dr. Alex O.T., OFR, ably represented by His Excellency Engineer Ikechukwu Emetu, FNSE, Deputy Governor of Abia State.
Your Excellency, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented here by the Senate President, Your Excellency, Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON, the President of the Senate and the Chairman of the National Assembly of Nigeria. Please need to use you to reach out to forgetting ever dynamic former Deputy Governor and Governor Bayelsa State, former Vice President and President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Your Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. You're welcome, Your Excellency. Not forgetting the Chief of Defense Staff here present. Please permit me to use you to reach out to all the security officers here present. And not forgetting our royal fathers, you're all welcome. And let me use my humble self to reach out to my fellow deputy governors here present, the press, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here on this very special occasion to represent my governor, His Excellency Dr. Alex Chioma Oti, OFR, the Executive Governor of Abia State. It is a great joy and profound gratitude to Almighty God that on behalf of His Excellency, the Governor of Abia State, Dr. Alex Chioma Oti, and the good people of Abia State, I warmly welcome Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. I salute the Chairman of this momentous summit, Your Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the Senate President, Your Excellency Godswill Akpabio, and the governors of the 9 Niger Delta region. Again, I wish to very warmly welcome every participant of the Niger Delta Stakeholders Summit with the theme, Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta. This important summit is a major step towards galvanizing and harnessing the opinions and ideas of our people with a view to articulating them critically, and also the activities of the Niger Delta Commission, NDDC, the actors at the corridors of power, the deplorable state of our economy, and the development in the region despite huge annual budgetary allocation by the government. We are the obstacles that limit the growth, survival, and the entry of the enterprise in our region. Your Excellencies, distinguished participants, this summit provides us with the platform to query the position of the Niger Delta region in the development for keeping us in unwanted circles and profile possible solutions towards the present woes capable of setting concrete development agenda. The paradigm shift is required from our usual individual and sole efforts to our economic.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it. We restrict ourselves to the 2 minutes. Let's forget about protocols just go straight to your goodwill message. Sarah, please.
And to deliver the next goodwill message, may I respectfully invite His Excellency Pastor Umar Eno, Governor of Akwa Ibom State, ably represented by Her Excellency Senator Dr. Akon Eyank Eyi, Deputy Governor, Akwa Ibom State.
By a great son of the Niger Delta, a great son of the South-South, the uncommon and proud son of Akwa Ibom State, the Senate President of the 10th Assembly, His Excellency Distinguished Senator Godswill Obot Akpabio. Salute you, sir. And the chief host of this great gathering. Permit me to acknowledge my own boss, my former boss who gave me the opportunity to serve this nation as a federal minister. I'm talking about President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan G.C. Ever, and the chairman of the occasion. The National Assembly members, governors, and my colleagues, deputy governors, permit me to acknowledge everyone based on the earlier protocol established by the moderator. I stand here today to represent a great son of Akwa Ibom State, a man of humility, a man who understands the importance of unity, of working together with everyone, a man who knows the importance of touching the lives of the less privileged. The executive governor of Akwa Ibom State, Pastor Umar Basieno, who is out of the country on an official assignment to bring in another aircraft in the Ibom Air Fleet to serve Nigeria. He had asked me to come here today to present his goodwill message, and so I seek for your permission to read the message from the governor of Akwa Ibom State. Let me, on behalf of the government and people of Akwa Ibom State, extend our warm wishes to the Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Ubogu, PhD, and indeed the management and staff of the Niger Delta Development Commission for gathering the stakeholders of the region for this summit. I think this event is timely, and the theme, Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta, is apt. Permit me to specially commend the Managing Director for the new approach of inclusivity and collaborations he has engendered since becoming the chief executive of this agency. He has visited the governors of the region to engage them on areas of mutual cooperation, hence has de-emphasized political calculations in his dealings with the stakeholders of the region. relying on the mandates for which the agency was established and expected to execute. We still remains an interventionist agency to ensure development and sustainable growth of the oil-producing states of the Niger Delta. This, indeed, is a welcome development and a departure from the contentious and often zero-sum approach we had sadly been used to in the past. Akwa Ibom State has a major oil and gas producing subnational remains dedicated to working collaboratively with this agency. The Arise Agenda, economic and governing blueprint, is big on agriculture, rural development, infrastructural maintenance, security management, and educational advancements. These are some of the areas the NDDC was and still is expected to work collaboratively with the state government in the region to advance. As a region, the Niger Delta must evolve a unified strategy that will drive development efforts going forward. Whilst I recognize the efforts of the Ministry of Niger Delta Affairs, the NDDC, the IOCs, multilateral agencies, international development partners, donor agencies, and other organizations in developing the region over the years. I'd like to quickly observe that the need for a harmonized strategy remains an overriding imperative for the sustainable growth and development of the Niger Delta region. We are hopeful that with this great assemblage of critical stakeholders and the theme of this engagement, all parties will strive to align themselves with the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR and work closely together to bring sustainable development to the region. We must redouble our efforts to create jobs for our youths. We must train them in marketable skills, encourage them to absorb and develop entrepreneurial mindset so the restiveness may continue to dissipate. We must be conscious of environmental issues, the despoliation of our waterways and creeks, which has invariably affected the aquatic lifestyle of our people, thus affecting our blue economy. I am hopeful that all those invited to lend their expertise in articulating the roadmap of sustainable development in the region will do a fantastic work. I wish us all a fruitful and rewarding summit. God bless us all. Thank you.
God bless you too. Thank you, Your Excellency. Our love to His Excellency the Governor. Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the man that has been called the poster boy of the renewed hope agenda in terms of the team, the Honorable Minister for Interior, we are very happy to have you here, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo. We welcome you to Port Harcourt. We welcome you to the Niger Delta. So let's come in here to invite the next speaker.
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, still on the goodwill messages, I'd like to respectfully invite to deliver a goodwill message His Excellency Senator Hope Uzodinma, Governor of Imo State, Chairman NDDC Advisory Committee, ably represented by Her Excellency Lady Chinyere Iwoma Ekomaru, PhD, Deputy Governor of Imo State.
Your Excellency, Mr. President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the Senate President, His Excellency, distinguished Senator Godswill Akpabio, Your Excellency, the former President of Nigeria, Dr. Godwin Goodluck Jonathan, GCON. May I crave your indulgence to stand on the existing protocol. Distinguished stakeholders, I bring you greetings from my progressive and performing governor, distinguished Senator Hope Uzodinma, Governor of Imo State. He is unavoidably absent and has sent me to represent him in this all-important summit. On behalf of my governor, we align completely with the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to see the success of the NDDC to achieve its sustainable developmental goals for the area. As we conclude this summit, we celebrate our collective achievements and recommit our shared vision for the Niger Delta region. May I, with deep sense of gratitude, thank the MD, CEO of NDDC, Chief Samuel Oboku, PhD, the Chairman, Governing Board of NDDC, and all board members. God has used you and will continually use you to achieve all the desired developmental goals of NDDC. We of the 9 states of NDDC, all stakeholders are supportive, and His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR President, Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, Federal Republic of Nigeria, trust you. So, MD, keep it up with your team. We have gathered to reflect on our achievements, address our challenges. Let us forge ahead, harness our collective expertise, resources, and passion to drive sustainable development in the Niger Delta. Let us go forth with renewed purpose, unity, and hope. The future we desired is within our reach. In Jesus' mighty name, amen. Thank you for your presence and participation. God bless you.
Thank you very much. That was a goodwill message from the Governor of Imo State by his representative, the Deputy Governor. And so to deliver his goodwill message, may I respectfully invite all the way from the Sunshine State, the Governor of Ondo State, His Excellency Honorable Lucky O. Ayedatiwa.
Thank you. The President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, who is ably represented by our own distinguished Senate President of the 10th Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON. Let me also acknowledge you in your own capacity as an illustrious son of the region who is also here. Permit me also to acknowledge specially the man that I share some of his path with in terms of name, even though his own is good luck, my own is lucky. He was once a deputy governor and became governor. I also was once a deputy governor. Now I'm a governor. Who knows what is ahead? His Excellency Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, I recognize you specially. Let me also acknowledge the governor of Bayelsa State, who is also here in person. He's also a distinguished Senator Doyediri. I recognize you. All the other deputy governors that are representing the governors of the Niger Delta states, the distinguished senators, chairman of committees, the Honorable Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, all former ministers, former governors, all our distinguished people from Niger Delta region and our friends that are not ordinarily from Niger Delta but that are here with us to that God has endowed us with. And therefore, commission for us to have a better living. And indeed, this has been on for many years. But the pace at which this transformation is coming is beginning to make a lot of our people to lose hope, to start getting weary, and some have already lost hope. But today, we have come into this conference that is themed Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta. If the initial hope has not been weakened, there won't be any need for it to be renewed. And I pray our hope will be renewed before we leave here today, so that we can still believe strongly in this vision for Niger Delta. And I want to commend the current management, the governing council and the management of Niger Delta Development Commission, and even Minister of Niger Delta Affairs for what they have been doing since they came on board. So I feel deeply honored to be here today as a former commissioner of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, who represented Ondo State as commissioner between 2010 2018 and 2019. Now the governor of Ondo State, and as one of the guests of honor at this auspicious gathering of the Niger Delta Development Commission Stakeholders Summit. The theme of this summit, renewed hope for sustainable development in the Niger Delta, is not only apposite, but essential as we navigate the complexities of development, not just in our region, but also in Nigeria, considering the current situation that we are in. This theme resonates deeply with me as it aligns with our administration's vision for Ondo State and the region. For us in Ondo State, we have implemented various initiatives aimed at promoting sustainable development, including investments in infrastructure, education, and healthcare. We have continued to prioritize environmental protection, job creation, and collaboration with private sector, recognizing their roles in driving economic growth, and part of what this current board has been doing. Niger Delta, with its vast natural resources and cultural richness, part of what we watched earlier in the opening, so I recognize the cultural group for that wonderful performance, has long been a cornerstone of Nigeria's economic engine. However, it is no secret that our region has also faced numerous challenges ranging from environmental degradation, economic disparity, social unrest, to mention a few. These issues have not only hindered our growth, but have also stifled the potential of our vibrant and industrious communities. But in the last 2 days and today, we gather here not for the usual talk shop regarding these challenges, but to chart a path forward, a path to renew our hope for sustainable development that guarantees a brighter future for our people in the region. While we continue with our discussions that will make us arrive at the strategic decisions that will guide the path to peace, progress, and prosperity for the Niger Delta people, we should not forget that the sustainable development in the Niger Delta is not a task for one entity, but a collective responsibility. Therefore, the synergy among the federal government, state governments, local communities, and private sector is crucial. We must foster a spirit of collaboration where every stakeholder's voice is heard and respected. The NDDC, as a key driver of development in the region, must continue to engage with all relevant parties and stakeholders to ensure that projects are not only impactful, but also reflective of the true needs of our communities. And this current administration, leadership of NDCC, have been living true to that. It goes without saying that our greatest asset is our people. Therefore, education, healthcare, and skill acquisition and ICT must be at the forefront of our developmental agenda. We must invest in our youth, providing them with the tools and opportunities to innovate and lead. By focusing on human capital development, we create a foundation for long-term economic growth and stability. Furthermore, the environmental challenges in the Niger Delta are profound. Oil spills, gas flaring, sea incursions, and deforestation have left scars on our land and waterways. Sustainable development requires us to adopt environmentally friendly practices and invest in technologies that mitigate harm to our ecosystem. The NDDC must therefore prioritize projects that restore, preserve our environment while promoting green energy alternatives. My dear people of Niger Delta, while oil remains a critical component of our economy, it is imperative that we diversify our economic activities. Agriculture, tourism, and creative industries offer immense potentials for growth and employment. By diversifying our economy, we reduce our vulnerability to global oil price fluctuations and create more resilient communities. We all know that robust infrastructure is the backbone of any thriving economy. Roads, bridges, healthcare facilities, and schools are essential for the well-being of our people. The NDDC has made significant strides in this area, but more needs to be done. We must ensure that infrastructural projects are executed efficiently, transparently, and sustainably. And I say no more abandonment of projects as a result of change in leadership. Leadership, they say, is continuum. Above all, transparency and accountability are the bedrock of good governance. As stakeholders, especially political leaders, you have been accused earlier on that you caused the delay in the transformation agenda of Niger Delta. Public servants at the decision-making level, we must be worthy stewards of the resources entrusted to us. The Niger Delta States, Niger Delta Development Commission, and other critical stakeholders must continue to uphold the highest standards of integrity and ensure that funds are utilized for the purpose it was intended. By fostering a culture of accountability, we build trust and confidence among our people, and that is the only way their hope can be renewed. In conclusion, at the moment, we seemingly stand at a crossroad. The path we choose will determine the future of the Niger Delta. Let us embrace this renewed hope for sustainable development with a sense of urgency and commitment. Together, we can transform the Niger Delta faster than it is right now into a region of peace, prosperity, and a land of opportunity for all. Thank you for listening. God bless Niger Delta region, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you. We appreciate you, Your Excellency, the Governor of Ondo State, Honorable Lucky Ayedatiwa. Thank you very much. Let me welcome here the former Governor of Cross River State. They call him the father of modern Cross River. If oil and gas is what defines the Niger Delta, the Calabar Festival is one of those things that is making the Niger Delta a tourism destination. His Excellency Donald Duke is here with us. We appreciate you, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. Also here with us is the Honorable Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Gas. His Excellency Ekperikpe Ekpo is here with us. I welcome you tonight. Thank you very much. Thank you. So very quickly, before I go to His Excellency, the Governor of the Glory of All Lands, Bayelsa, who will be rounding up the arrangement for governors, let me quickly welcome here for 1 minute the country rep of the WHO World Health Organization. 1 minute. How are 3 people going to share 1 minute?
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, ably represented by the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, the former President, His Excellency President Goodluck Jonathan, Your Excellencies, please permit me to start on the protocol that has been established. I read this goodwill message on behalf of the WHO representative in Nigeria, Dr. Walter Kazadi Mulumbu. I will read his message as given. So WHO is most delighted to be in your midst today to participate in this historic event, the Niger Delta Development Commission Stakeholder Summit, with a theme Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta region. Firstly, we would like to congratulate the President and the Commander-in-Chief of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for sustaining the actualization of the common vision to build a viable future for all the people of Nigeria, especially the Niger Delta region, irrespective of socioeconomic status and geographic location. Our sincere appreciation goes to the executive governors of the Niger Delta states, many of whom WHO has met and has worked closely with, for prioritizing and making significant investments in the health of our people. WHO is aware that this summit is planned to celebrate the giant strides made by NDDC in their various impactful and transformational projects, while fostering collaboration and establishing a renewed pathway towards sustained development in the region. The summit could not have come at a better time than now, when the global community has recommitted to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by the year 2030. At this point, let me commend the NDDC board, led by Mr. Chedu Ebi, and the management, led by the Managing Director, Dr. Samuel Obuku. Mr. President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, with about 6 years to the 2030, evidence has shown that member states need to adopt a different approach towards accelerating actions, despite signing up the various conventions to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly around poverty reduction, zero hunger, universal health coverage, quality education, climate change, clean water and sanitation, resolution of conflicts, reduction of inequalities, and life below water. Considering the unique context and terrain of the Niger Delta communities, WHO takes delight in the NDDC Regional Master Plan, which has prioritized health as an enabler for poverty reduction and economic development in the region. This has come more imperative as the double barrel of communicable and non-communicable diseases, including disease outbreaks, still linger and does not spare the 9 Niger Delta states. With an average state government expenditure of 1.8 per capita and out-of-pocket expenditure above 70%, many Niger Delta citizens still fall into poverty due to illness. The situation makes a case for radical reorientation and strategic investment in primary health care as the foundation of universal health coverage and the center of community development in the Niger Delta states. Consequently, the NDDC has finalized a partnership agreement with WHO to accelerate health coverage and financial risk protection for the poor and vulnerable populations towards achieving universal health coverage in the region. This project will be implemented in 3 phases. Firstly, to register, identify, register, authenticate, and provide credible data of poor and vulnerable people resident in the rural communities of the 9 states. Secondly, to enroll 1 million Niger Delta citizens into health insurance. And thirdly, to strengthen capacity for health security in the Niger Delta states. Mr. President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this project is expected to reduce the out-of-pocket payments within the Niger Delta states, also reduce maternal deaths, and also improve access to quality primary health care and strengthen health security to detect, notify, and respond to health threats. We in WHO are strengthened by the WHO Country Cooperation Strategy as a member state organization, in line with the Renewed Hope Agenda and the Health Sector Renewal Investment Initiative of the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare, ably led by Professor Ali Pate. The World Health Organization is committed to providing technical support as guided and powered by the sector-wide approach, which seeks to reduce the hyper-fragmentation within the health sector and align development assistance towards impact. Finally, Mr. President, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, WHO is confident that with this quality of discourse, exchange of ideas, and the collective resolve of the people and leaders of the Niger Delta region, this summit will be successful in the co-creation of sustainable solutions, harnessing the voices of the citizens, and ensuring accountability on critical issues that impact the region, such as health, environmental sustainability, economic diversification, infrastructure development, and social empowerment. We thank you very much for your attention.
I'd like to now call on the host governor to present his goodwill message. May we welcome His Excellency Sir Siminalayi Fubara, Grand Service Star of Rivers State, Governor of Rivers State, ably represented by Dr. George C.
Of our father here at the Niger Delta, former President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. also want to humbly appreciate the presence of the governors of the Niger Delta states and every person that is here in Rivers State. On behalf of the peace-loving governor of Rivers State, Sir Siminalayi Fubara, Grand Service Staff of Rivers State, I welcome every person here warmly to the Garden City of Nigeria and headquarters of the oil industry. It is indeed with immense gratitude that I stand here on behalf of His Excellency at this summit focused on sustainable development of our beloved Niger Delta. The theme, Renewed Hope for Sustainable Development of the Niger Delta, captures our collective aspiration for progress and prosperity in this significant region. First, I want to extend the governor's heartfelt thanks to Mr. President for the timely decision to inaugurate the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission. This move surely underscores His Excellency's dedication to the growth and well-being of Niger Delta and also signals his commitment to addressing our region's challenges. For too long now, the Niger Delta region communities have continued to suffer from oil exploitation, resulting in severe ecological degradation and economic devastation. Our once thriving biodiversity is now overshadowed by pollution and neglect. It is only fair that the Nigerian nation prioritizes the rehabilitation and prosperity of the Niger Delta, given our immense contribution to the country's commonwealth. We concern some policies that are made that seem to sideline the interests of the people of the region. These include the relocation of some headquarters of major oil companies away from the Niger Delta. Such actions detract from our economic vibrancy and distance responsible parties from the consequences of oil exploitation. Our stance as a government is that any policy undermining the interest and development of the Niger Delta is not in the nation's best interest. Despite our challenges, the Niger Delta people remain among the most peaceful and hospitable people in Nigeria. Our resilience and commitment to peaceful coexistence are evident. This summit highlights our dedication to collaborative growth, showcasing our unified voice for sustainable development. I sincerely commend the organizers for this initiative and stress the importance of collaboration among the Niger Delta states. Only through concerted efforts can we achieve lasting progress. The NDDC's role is crucial, and it must work closely with each state, ensuring that projects are locally initiated and not dumped on the people. This is the only way we can ensure that those projects become sustainable. To the resident people of the Niger Delta, I assure you of the unwavering support of the Rivers State government. We stand united in our commitment to any action and advances that can advance our region's development. Let us remain steadfast and work collaboratively towards a brighter future. I want to re-echo the Minister of Niger Delta's call for honesty, peace, and unity in our pursuit of accelerated development. Let us embrace this opportunity given by this summit to shape our destiny and renew the hope of our communities. Rivers State pledges unwavering support for any initiative that propels our region forward. Thank you, and may Niger Delta continue to shine as a cornerstone of progress and hope for our great nation. As I wish you a warm welcome to Port Harcourt, the headquarters of Nigeria oil industry, I pray that God will guide us through this summit and that will come with very useful decisions. Thank you, and God bless you.
He is the head of the Civil Service of Rivers State, representing His Excellency, the Governor of Rivers State. And also here with us, I'd like to welcome the Chairman House Committee on NDDC, Honorable Eriateke Iborisheun, that is here with us. We welcome you. Very quickly, let me welcome here a man that knows while oil and gas is contributing close to 90% of Nigeria's foreign exchange, making the Niger Delta the wealthiest in West Africa, he also realizes that there's life beyond oil. I'd like to welcome here the former governor of Cross River State, His Excellency Donald Duke.
Your Excellencies, may I have for the former governors here, Adams? I'm not inviting the former president. I know he was a former governor, but I'm not inviting him here. Your Excellencies, our host, the former president, various governors, past serving, all gathered here, your honorable ministers, members of the National Assembly. Let me thank you, and I speak on behalf of us here. Let me thank you for the NDDC for this summit, which is really a reflection of where the Commission is going. Our zone, the Niger Delta, is primarily known as one that produces hydrocarbons. But that is not what it's all about. Indeed, our nation is blessed with resources in various forms, in mineral resources and human resources. But the focus, I believe, of the Niger Delta Development Commission ought to be the people, the productivity of the people. Yes, we have the hydrocarbons. Yes, we're probably one of the most developed in terms of mineral resources in the region, and perhaps in all of West Africa. But all that means nothing if the people themselves are not productive. And therefore, this summit, I believe, ought to address those issues that have to deal with the productivity of the people of the region, the productivity of its citizens, and what could be done to enhance that will be basically skills acquisition, education, health, and infrastructure. I also would like, and I believe that as former governors, we appreciate this very much, the need to coordinate between the Commission and the states so that we don't have a duplication of projects. Governors want to know what you're doing. You're an intervention agency. You're not to take over the responsibility of the government of each of these states, but intervene in specific areas. And so as an intervention agency, you've got to speak consistently with the government of the state, with the governors of this state, so that they could also advise you where they need your intervention. And the plethora of abandoned projects will probably cease because each time a new management comes in, the focus changes. Having said this, let me also advise. The NDDC as an intervention agency cannot be everything to everyone. You must have a focus that makes an impact, right? Doing things outside of scope because people come to you and put pressure on you, we want this, we want this. The needs of human beings will never end. But if you're focused, like I said earlier on education, on skills acquisition, on health, on infrastructure, you would make an impact that is visible. When we start going to other areas and there's no end to what we can do or what the requirements of our people are, then we have a challenge. So again, I want to congratulate all of you, the board and management of NDDC. Keep it alive. It is the work you do that will justify your existence. Because in 7 quarters, people question, do we really need an NDDC? Yes, we need an NDDC if that NDDC makes the impact that it was set up to. You are not the first agency within the region. We've had OMPADEC, we've had several. Indeed, from independence, we've had one agency or the other dealing with these issues. But the needs are greater. Today, the requirements of our people in the country is so much greater than it was in the past. We require your impact to keep alive this commission. I want to thank you. I want to congratulate you for the job well done so far, and hope that this summit will live up to its billing. Thank you very much.
Amazing man. Amazing man. We have the former governor of Cross River State, Donald Duke, the countryman governor, former governor of Bayelsa State, Siraki Dixon, and former governor of Edo State, now a senator, and a very vibrant one at that, comrade Adams Oshiomhole. Right Honorable Peter Ode is also here with us. We welcome you tonight, this afternoon. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, if you need to trace the history of oil in Nigeria, Oloibiri 1957 will come to mind. That is why Bayelsa State is known as the glory of our lands. Because from there, 90% of Nigeria's exchange is coming from there. From there, when Niger Delta is known as the richest region in West Africa. He's here with us, His Excellency the Governor of Bayelsa State. I'd like to welcome His Excellency Senator Joye Diri.
Your Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR here ably represented by a son of the Niger Delta, the Senate President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Godswill Akpabio. Your Excellency, my leader, the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Your Excellency, my dear colleagues, governors who are here present, members of the National Assembly, in particular, let me take the liberty to recognize my immediate predecessor and members, chairman, guests, very distinguished ladies and gentlemen. First, I'd like to thank the Niger Delta Development Commission. Our desire of our region to develop faster than the way it is today. Let me also use the opportunity to appreciate the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for prioritizing the Niger Delta by appointing a board on time and a management team on time. We have also witnessed recently the construction of the coastal road that is going to run from Lagos to Calabar. I want to appreciate and thank the President for that. And I couldn't believe what I saw today. Some people have been there for 1 week. Some have been there for 2 days. That is not the Niger Delta that we want to be. That is not the Niger Delta our forefathers dreamt about. And so I appeal particularly to our own son who is here representing Mr. President to take this message to the President and let them act fast on the East-West road. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. That was...
Let me once again applaud the organizers of this event for providing a forum for intellectual discourse and such distinguished personalities and erudite resource persons. The quality of the audience here today points to the good work of the Commission. I therefore have no doubt that this summit will be very thought-provoking with insightful perspectives. I want to also employ us all to remain loyal to constituted authorities and be patriotic to our great nation, Nigeria. There is so much that we can do. In closing, I express the hope for sustainable development in the Niger Delta. Let me also express our profound gratitude to the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Nigeria security agencies. The Armed Forces of Nigeria shall continue to uphold the peace and security of the Niger Delta region and the nation at large. Wishing you all a successful and fruitful summit. Thank you and God bless you all.
Thank you very much. The Chief of Defense Staff, underlining the importance of security as we begin to use the oil and gas of the region for the development of the region and providing sustainable livelihood for the people. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, also in our mix here is a very prominent son of the soil, the Alabo of Ediabali, Alhaji Mujahid Asari Dokubo is here with us. I welcome you. Thank you very much. An activist, environmentalist, and a lover of his region. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, very quickly to step forward here is the Chairman House Committee on NDDC, Federal House of Representatives, Honorable Eriateke Ibori Sheung. Oh, Honorable Leko is representing. I welcome you. That's the grandson of Tafawa Balewa stepping up to the stage. I welcome you.
Thank you. His Excellency, the President of Federal Republic of Nigeria, ably represented by the uncommon President and the uncommon Chairman of the National Assembly, His Excellency Sir Godwill Akpabio. Permit me also to acknowledge one of the finest and humble president Nigerian ever have, His Excellency, our father, Sir Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. Other highly respected invited guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, permit me to adopt the already existing established protocol. Well, for me, for the past 1 year, the NDDC has invited us over 6 times to commission billions naira project. Aside from the number of youth that they sponsored to study in different countries abroad. For that, I declare myself a friend of Niger Delta. Secondly, I want to congratulate the people of Niger Delta and also appreciate the President, His Excellency Ahmed Bola Tinubu, for choosing a committed Nigerians to lead this board. We must acknowledge, before now, the NDDC was struggling. But when these committed board management members came in, they brought back NDDC to life. And this is achievable because of the relationship, the collaboration, the support, and dedication the 10th National Assembly has. At this point, I will request you to thank specifically His Excellency the Senate President, Sir Godswill Akpabio, and my Speaker, Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, for their commitment and support to this very noble commission. I'm standing in here to give a goodwill message of my leader, the Speaker of the 10th National Assembly, His Excellency Dr. Tajuddin Abbas, and my dear Chairman, Right Honorable Take Swenu Ibori. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I want to begin by expressing my heartfelt gratitude to, first of all, God Almighty and the organizers of this very, very important summit for their dedication, hard work in bringing us all together. It is a honor to be here among such distinguished Nigerians and stakeholders today. We gathered to share a vision and commitment to address this vital region, unique challenges and opportunities. This summit is not only laudable, but is timely as it offers stakeholders strategic succession and challenges of the region of the Niger Delta, rich in resources and cultural heritage, stand at a pivotal point in this development journey. The choice of the theme of the event, Renew Hope for Sustainable Development in the Niger Delta, is more apt and will stir the robust conversation around the renewed hope agenda of His Excellency President Ahmed Bola Tinubu. As we are engaging in meaningful discussion, remember our collective responsibility to ensure sustainable development, social equity, economic perspective for all inhabitants of the Niger Delta region. I look forward to the productive conversation ahead, to the collaborative effort that will drive us forward to a brighter future of Niger Delta. Thank you. God bless you. God bless the Niger Delta, and God bless the Nigerian Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And to put a cap on this session of goodwill messages, may I have the singular honor and privilege to invite to give his goodwill message the Chairman, Senate Committee on NDDC, Senator Asukwo Ekpeyong.
President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, here represented by His Excellency Godswill Akpabio, President of the 10th Senate, the former President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, Your Excellencies, governors, former governors, distinguished senators, members of the House of Representatives, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I welcome you to this very important summit. As stakeholders in the region, it is crucial that we continuously congregate at forums such as this to evaluate the progress being made towards entrenching peace and sustainable development in the region. I think that it is also important that we acknowledge the role being played by the administration of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who has displayed a resolute commitment to the development of the Niger Delta. This administration has made commendable efforts towards addressing some of the challenges that have plagued our region for years. We encourage the President to do even more, as the benefits to be accrued from putting a complete end to the restiveness in the Niger Delta are immense. This includes the attraction of urgently needed investment into the region from both foreign and domestic investors, resulting in economic growth for both the region and the country as a whole. I cannot also fail to mention the role being played by the Niger Delta Development Commission in achieving peace in the region. The board and management, being led by two gentlemen of the highest repute, Mr. Chiedu Ebie and Dr. Samuel Ogbuku, has already achieved so much in a short time. Working together with my colleagues from the Senate Committee on NDDC, for the first time in several years, the NDDC will be operating a budget approved by the National Assembly. This document will undoubtedly provide the requisite legislative backbone for laudable achievements in the fiscal year ahead. We are all witness to the spree of legacy projects from previous eras being completed. We are all witness, with the addition of new projects and programs, I am positive that the year ahead will be a transformative one for our region. In conclusion, I would like to express my gratitude to everyone who has made this event possible. Your commitment and dedication are invaluable. I pray that this platform will provide the source for robust and meaningful discussion, which will translate into tangible benefits for the Niger Delta region. Thank you, and I wish you the most fruitful deliberations. God bless you.
Thank you very much, Senator Akpayong. We appreciate you. Thank you very much. Very quickly, we'll now move into our keynote papers, and I've had discussion with the presenters. The representative of Dr. Tony Elumelu have agreed to do 5 minutes. The professor, we are still dragging between 7 and 10, but I'm very sure he will oblige all of us and do 7 minutes. So without much ado, let me welcome here the CEO of Hairs Energies, part of the Hairs Holdings family, representing the chairman of Hairs Holdings, the chairman of UBA, the chairman of Tony Elumelu Foundation. Here we have Engineer Osanyede Gerhon, who has agreed to do 5 minutes, or maybe he might reduce to 3.
Your Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, herewith represented by Senator Godswill Akpabio, CON, the President of the Senate, Your Excellency, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, GCFR, former President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, all other protocols observed. Good morning, distinguished gentlemen and ladies, guests, stakeholders, and fellow proud sons and daughters of the Niger Delta. It's a great honor to be here today with you on behalf of Mr. Tony Elumelu, CFR. We congratulate the board and the management of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, for hosting this Epoch Summit to deliberate on the Niger Delta, the renewed hope agenda of our dear President, President Tinubu,
and how this agenda will bring sustainable development to the region. As many of you may know, Mr. Elumelu hails from Delta State and is a passionate believer in the tremendous potential of the Niger Delta and its people. Being a Edo myself, I am quite pleased to be given this opportunity to give our reflections on the important theme. The Renewed Hope Agenda is a transformative platform of our dear President that is hindered on a number of pillars, one of which is development. This summit theme, therefore, of renewed hope for sustainable development in the Niger Delta resonates deeply with us because for too long, the story of the Niger Delta has been one of unfulfilled potential, environmental degradation, and economic exclusion. And we believe that a new chapter in the long story is being written, one defined by more sustainable growth, shared prosperity, and empowered communities. The Renewed Hope agenda of Mr. President, therefore, is pivotal to the advancement of sustainable development of the Niger Delta on many fronts. As a key private sector player, at Health Holdings, we are deeply committed to driving sustainable development and creating shared prosperity across Africa, across Nigeria, and across Niger Delta. To date, our companies employ over 40,000 people in more than 20 African countries. Here in the Niger Delta, the heartland of oil and gas industry, we are demonstrating our dedication to the region through our strategic investments and operations. Significantly, our oil and gas subsidiary, Hess Energies Limited, which I manage, operates the OML-17 in Rivers State, and most notably, 100% of the gas we produce is channeled into the domestic market, providing critical supply to power industries, hospitals, homes, and schools across the region. In the power sector, Transcore, one of our groups, operates two significant plants in the Niger Delta, the Ugeli Power Plant in Delta State and the Transafan Power Plant here in Rivers State. With a combined capacity of about 3,000 megawatts, these investments are strategically positioned to transform lives by expanding access to reliable and affordable electricity. Our business investments demonstrates our belief that indigenous companies like ours have a unique role and responsibility to contributing to the Niger Delta's growth and prosperity, and we are proud to be leading by example. Beyond our business activities, the Tony Elumelu Foundation has to date empowered over 15,000 young African entrepreneurs, including thousands here in the Niger Delta, providing them with the capital and the training to launch and grow their businesses. Personally, heading our oil and gas investments, I've had the privilege of working closely with Mr. Elumelu, witnessing his vision and passion for driving Africa's growth through entrepreneurship and private sector innovation. He always emphasizes that whilst private sector has a vital role, it cannot succeed in isolation. Systemic challenges from infrastructure deficits to skills gaps to a difficult business environment can stifle even the most This vision will not be easy. It will require all of us, government, agencies like NDDC, the business sector, civil society, and communities to work together in new ways. It will demand sustained commitment, innovative thinking, and difficult compromise. We have seen where determined leaders and engaged citizens come together to transform even the most challenging circumstances. With the right policies, investments, and partnerships, we can build an economy in the Niger Delta that is diverse, inclusive, and sustainable, an economy that creates opportunity for all. So beyond Mr. President's agenda itself, renewed hope is a clarion call to all stakeholders that we should rekindle our interest and intellect, that we should show up our courage and the resilience that we are known for as Nigerians, that we should face the tasks at hand with resolve and enthusiasm, and with a clear conviction that the challenges of sustainably developing the Delta is possible. We must renew the hope of our people. We at Hess Holdings are key parties and partners in this effort to build a just, prosperous, and more peaceful future for the Niger Delta and all its peoples. So, as sons of the Niger Delta, we are energized by the dynamism, creativity, and resilience we see every day in our young people. With the right support and opportunities, we truly believe they will become the drivers of the region's rebirth and renewal. So together, let's seize the opportunity to make the Niger Delta the pride of Nigeria and of the world. My appreciation once again to NEDC for putting this together. Thank you, and God bless Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Please extend our love and regards to Dr. Tony Elumelu, Chairman of Hess Holdings, Chairman UBA, and the founder of Tony Elumelu Foundation that has committed over $100 million into empowering the youth of Africa. He is a man who is pioneering what is called Afri-capitalism, ensuring that Africa becomes very entrepreneurial. Thank you very much, and in regards to him, let me welcome here Sir Mike Okiro, former Inspector General of Police, and also here with us is the national chairman of the founding fathers of UNPADEC and NDDC. He's also the author of the blueprints of the two organizations. Chief Professor Jasper Jumbo JP is here with us. We welcome you. Thank you very much. Our final keynote paper, and as I said, Prof has agreed to do it in 7. The representative of Tony Elumelu did it in 6.5. You will pay for the additional 1.5 minutes. But let me welcome here the Director General, Nigeria Institute of International Affairs, Professor Ehosa Osage. He's a professor, and he assured me that he will deliver in 7 minutes. Prof, please. Let's appreciate him as he steps forward here. I will not count the number of minutes it takes you to get to this place. When you get to the podium, your 7 minutes start counting. I welcome you, Prof.
Your Excellencies, Your Excellency, the President and Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, Your Excellency, President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, Your Excellency, the distinguished President of Senate, Chief Godswill Akpabio, Your Excellencies, the governors and deputy governors here, let me thank the NDDC for this privilege to be here to deliver what has been termed a keynote address. This keynote is going to be very short. We're in the process of negotiation, and the MC has foreclosed any further negotiation by imposing on me 7 minutes. But I'm going to exercise my right to further negotiation and extend this to 10 minutes. I hope you don't mind. What I'm going to try to do is to place all that we are doing in very clear perspective. And I'm going to bring some conceptual frames to help us analyze and understand the issues of a stakeholder summit. I'm going to apply 2 critical lenses that have been developed for instances and situations like this, so we can all be better informed. The first is the characterization of economies of countries such as ours that suffer from the crisis of extraversion, that is, the crisis of being so externally influenced. And you know, as a vulnerable economy, we've been characterized as an economy of the cycle of the boom and bust. When we experience a boom, such as we've had with our oil resources, the country is affluent. When we experience a burst, such as we're presently experiencing, the country is constricted and we have very few options to deal with. But the good news is that when you get constricted and you are able to manage and pull through that whole process, through the kinds of things that we are presently doing in our country, you lay the foundations for what you can then regard as sustainable development. And I think that the summary of that is we should, by all means, look for ways of moving from an economy that is dependent, an economy that is export and import based, i.e. a trading outpost, to an economy that is productive. And therefore, I think that the NDDC has a role to play as one of the pillars of growth in this direction. I would conclude in a minute on what I mean. The second critical lens comes from the concept of resource curse. I'm sure that many of us have heard about the resource curse, whose origins lie in what is also known as the Dutch disease. That is, when countries go into windfall situations such as we have experienced with our oil and gas resources, they tend to become less productive, and then you have, rather than the blessing and the prosperity that should come, you have adverse consequences, which is why the resource then becomes a curse. In the case of the Niger Delta, many people don't remember that we have had for over 160 years the oil wars in the Niger Delta. In 2011, Professor Tekena Tamuno, a foremost Nigerian historian and the great son of the Niger Delta, wrote a book on the oil wars in the Niger Delta between the year 1894 and the year 2009. In that book, he has chronicled all of the wars that have happened because of oil. Today, we think of oil only in terms of crude oil and gas. But Professor Tamuno, together with Professor Lagwa and all those that have researched and interrogated the trajectories and the sufferings of the Niger Delta, remind us that going back to the days of the Akasa rebellion, going back to the days of Obavorame in Benin and so on, it's always been about oil. The precursor to oil in this era was, of course, oil palm, and that was a big problem. It is not for nothing, therefore, that the original name for what is today Niger Delta was the Oil River Protectorate. This was the name between 1893 and 1894. So today, the Niger Delta is in the throes of the resource curse. And this was highlighted in the Wheeling Commission's report of 1958 that talked about the peculiarity but the greater difficulty of dealing with the developmental trajectories and challenges of the Niger Delta. It was the Wheeling Commission, otherwise known as the Minorities Commission report, that first recommended the establishment of a special agency to deal with issues of the Niger Delta, which again was similar to the NDDC. And all that we've done through UNPADEC, through all of these things leading on to today's NDDC, have followed what the Wheeling Commission recommended. Now, what does this mean for us? What is the nature of this resource curse? This resource curse has driven us to the extremes of environmental degradation, has put us at the greatest exploitative levels globally and locally. And this resource curse has been worsened in most recent times because of the challenges of climate change and energy transition, and so on. Now, where does this leave us? I want to suggest to us that our resource curse in the Niger Delta can be summarized in terms of the fact that this has been a region of sorrow, of tears, and of blood. So all of the movements, the resistance movements, the kinds of things that have gone on, all of them summarize the history of the progressive struggles that have characterized the Niger Delta. But the curse in all of these struggles is the fact that the Niger Delta has become ever more divided. Today we talk about stakeholders. You would ask, who are the stakeholders? And how are they to be defined and understood? And I think, that you will find that there are conflicting representational constituencies, several groups claiming to represent voices in the Niger Delta, and all of them struggling for supremacy. The significance of this stakeholder summit is not to be lost. It must help to resolve who actually is the Niger Delta and whose stakeholding is all this about. And I think that for good effect, one of the things that we saw from the Petroleum Industry Act is the role of popular participation in the work of development in the Niger Delta. This is also underscored in the Delta Master Plan, that knowledge rules the world. DC must now think of how to incubate knowledge that the people are propagated. I think here that the youths of would move from an entitlement culture to of self-reliance, of resilience, and a culture of that's a transition that will come from the emphasis on knowledge. And in this regard, I'd like to recommend that the NDDC should consider having hubs, creating hubs for research and development, R&D, that will drive this process in the Niger Delta. Let me say, I think, that the PIA, that is the Petroleum Industry Act, is very clear on this, that as we have these constituencies and constituency projects to bring them fully back in, we must also devote resources to conflict management and to peace building. Finally, we must recognize that the Niger Delta is challenged by the transition of a boom and bust economy. And as I began saying, this is the foundation that the Renewed Hope agenda is laying, and I hope that the NDDC will become one of the anchors for a transformatory economy that will move our economy from its vulnerabilities and its extraversion crisis to the point of the development